Hello Tech World and welcome to another video. Recently I decided to return my 13-inch M2 iPad Air and upgrade to the M2 iPad Pro, which was released in 2022. In today's video, I'll share the reasons behind this switch, my experience with the new iPad, and why I believe it's the better choice if you could get it at a good price. If you're new to the channel, we cover everything tech and gaming, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you stay updated on our latest content. Without further ado, let's dive into the M2 iPad Pro. In regard to the Switch, there were several reasons why I considered it, with the most important factor being pricing. If you're unaware of the pricing for both iPads, the brand new 13-inch M2 iPad Air retails for $799. On the other hand, you can find the 12.9-inch M2 iPad Pro brand new at Best Buy for $900, which includes the 12.9-inch display, 8GB of RAM, and 256GB of storage. When you compare that with the M2 iPad Air with 256GB of storage, the prices are the same. If you're fine with getting an open box iPad, you can find the M2 iPad Pro for even cheaper. Though pricing was a significant factor in my decision, there were several other reasons why I made the switch. Now, let's talk about the build and design of the M2 iPad Pro. Well, the M2 iPad Pro has a premium build that feels great in the hands. It's noticeably heavier than the iPad Air, weighing 682 grams compared to the Air's 617 grams. So trust me, you can definitely feel the difference. For authentication, the iPad Pro uses Face ID, while the iPad Air relies on Touch ID. Although I mentioned in a previous video that I had no issues with Touch ID, I have to admit that Face ID has made unlocking the iPad and accessing certain passwords much more convenient. Both devices feature USB-C connectors, but the iPad Pro also includes Thunderbolt support, which offers faster transfer speeds, a great advantage for those who frequently transfer files. Another key factor in my decision was the display. The 12.9-inch M2 iPad Pro features a Liquid Retina XDR display, which in my opinion is superior to the standard Liquid Retina display of the M2 iPad Air. Both displays are stunning, vibrant, and produce sharp, crisp images with a resolution of 2732 by 2048. They are fully laminated, have an anti-reflective coating, and offer an SDR brightness of up to 600 nits. Both also support wide color P3, however, that's where the similarities end. The M2 iPad Pro boasts a mini LED backlit multi-touch display with IPS technology, while the iPad Air has a standard LED backlit multi-touch display. The XDR display on the iPad Pro offers up to 1000 nits of brightness with a peak brightness of 1600 nits for HDR content, an advantage that the M2 iPad Air does not have. When it comes to the refresh rate on both devices, the iPad Air has a 60Hz refresh rate, whereas the iPad Pro comes with ProMotion, so up to 120Hz. In terms of performance, both iPads are quite similar, with only slight differences. Both feature the powerhouse M2 chip with an 8-core CPU, comprising of 4 performance cores and 4 efficiency cores. However, the M2 iPad Pro has a slight advantage in graphics with a 10-core GPU compared to the M2 iPad Air's 9-core GPU. Both models include a 16-core neural engine and offer 100GB of memory bandwidth. Another performance difference is that the M2 iPad Pro can support up to 16GB of RAM depending on your storage choice, whereas the M2 iPad Air is limited to 8GB of RAM regardless of the storage size you select. In terms of battery life, both iPads offer similar usage times. They each provide up to 10 hours of surfing the web on Wi-Fi or watching videos, and up to 9 hours of surfing the web using a cellular data network. Moving on, let's talk about the audio from both devices. The iPad Air features landscape stereo speakers and 2 microphones, while the iPad Pro boasts a quad speaker setup and 5 studio quality microphones. When it comes to the audio coming out of both devices, in my honest opinion, it's not even close. I prefer the sound coming off of the iPad Pro as it's louder and richer. Let me know what you think. When it comes to the cameras, again, this is not something I care much about, but for those who do, here's what you can expect from both iPads. Both devices feature a 12 megapixel wide camera, but the iPad Air lacks the additional 10 megapixel ultra wide camera found on the iPad Pro. It also does not include the True Tone flash that comes with the M2 iPad Pro. In terms of video recording, both can record 4K up to 60 frames per second, while the iPad Pro is also capable of recording ProRes video up to 4K at 30 frames per second. As for the front-facing cameras, while both have an ultra-wide camera, the iPad Pro features a portrait orientation, whereas the iPad Air M2 has a landscape orientation, which I believe is better for FaceTime and Zoom calls. Moving on, let's talk about gaming, as this is something that I love to do on my iPad. Gaming on the iPad Pro has been a blast, as the display truly enhances the experience with its ProMotion technology and mini LED screen. The ability to play certain games at up to 120 Hz is both exciting and enjoyable. However, while this feature is impressive, I wouldn't say it's a game changer that makes buying this iPad a must for a great gaming experience. But for those who are serious about gaming, especially on the iPad, I would definitely suggest getting an iPad Pro, as it provides a higher refresh rate, which is important for gaming, especially if you plan on playing FPS games such as COD Mobile or COD Warzone and more. When it comes to accessories, both iPads support the old Magic Keyboard, which in my opinion is still overpriced, which is why I use the keyboard case from ESR. As for the Apple Pencil, the M2 iPad Pro supports the Apple Pencil 2nd Gen, as well as the Apple Pencil USB-C. As for the M2 iPad Air, it supports the Apple Pencil USB-C, as well as the brand new Apple Pencil Pro, which unfortunately can only be used on the M2 iPad Air as well as the M4 iPad Pro. If you're an artist, then I would completely go for the M2 iPad Air, as you'll be able to save money and get the Apple Pencil Pro without needing to get an M4 iPad Pro. Let me know in the comments if you believe the Apple Pencil Pro is a must-buy accessory for the new iPads. So let's wrap up this video. How has my experience been since replacing my M2 iPad Air, you might ask? Well, it's been great. I'm now using an iPad that features ProMotion, Face ID, a mini LED display, and more. This tablet has become my daily driver, and I'm happy with my choice to switch. In my honest opinion, for those looking to get their first iPad Pro, I highly recommend either getting the M1 or the M2 iPad Pros, as they can often be found at a discount from their original retail prices. These iPads are dropping in prices every day, so definitely be on the lookout for these drops. Now, when it comes to these iPads, they're excellent for handling demanding tasks while also providing a fantastic experience for content consumption and gaming. So far, this device has been a valuable tool for my content creation, offering a great portable solution for getting work done. As always, Tech World, it's been a pleasure, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.